Thank you all for being here. What an awesome venue. I know there were a lot of people involved in putting this together, but Jimmy, Cole, and Mara, I know were especially involved, and so good job to you two and the rest of the crew for putting this together. We're going to have some speakers come up. We've got 5 speakers that are going to talk about Marcy and all her accomplishments and all that she means to all of us. But first, let me make an announcement that's hot off the press, and I'm going to read this so I don't mess it up. But Marcy was just selected as a 2018 recipient of the Russell P. Kropp Award from the Florida Educational Research Association. And let me quote this, this award is given, and I quote this, to recognize a policymaker or administrator engaged in education in the state of Florida who has demonstrated in an exemplary fashion the use of educational research or evaluation in educational decision-making. Congratulations, Marcy, to that. And she's already tearing up here in the front, which is going to be really hard for me to get through. But let's go ahead and start the speeches. And first up, we have our president, John Thrasher.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you very much, and what a great turnout, Marcy and Robin, for this wonderful event. I couldn't be prouder to be here, and Jean and I both wish you the very best in the years to come. But we, you know, this is becoming kind of a routine event. We've got too daggone many deans retiring. I don't know. I had a rule that no dean could retire before I did, but they've obviously not listening very much. So, but that's okay. That's okay. You know, I know that you and Robin are going to have a wonderful time together in these years that you have to retire after retirement. And I think you all know about retirement. You know, it wouldn't matter whether I had a rule or not. Marcy's. If you know Marcy well enough, you know that she has a mind of her own, and I've learned that in my 4 years here. But if anyone needs to take some time off and enjoy life, it's Marcy. She has dedicated nearly 40 years of service and scholarship to Florida State University. 40 years. That's amazing. And now, after 13 years at the helm of the College of Education, she's retiring as one of the longest-serving deans on our campus. Just think for a second how many lives she has touched. During her tenure, more than 10,700 students earned degrees from the College of Education. 10,700. Another major accomplishment. And Marcy, I don't mean to make it personal to me, but the one thing I will miss is our granddaughter, who will be going into the College of Education. Hope will not be able to get a degree from you and enjoy your expertise, but hopefully you'll come back often and mentor some of these great students who you've already changed their lives. She also has been awarded nearly $4.5 million in scholarships, another major accomplishment. To say that she has had an incredible impact on our students would be obviously an understatement. She has the kind of knowledge and experience that you just simply can't replace. She is a skilled administrator, a talented fundraiser, and a strong advocate for the profession of teaching, which is really God's work in my opinion. I've enjoyed getting to know her over the last few years, and I'm thrilled when she shared with me her passion for flying radio-controlled airplanes with her husband, Robin. And I've seen some of them. I know many of you probably have also. And the flight theme tonight is indicative of that great avocation. I must say at first I was a little surprised at her choice of a hobby, but the more I thought about it, frankly, the more it made sense to me. Marcy's always been the kind of person whom the sky is the limit. Right? Everybody knows that? Yeah. She brings that drive and determination to everything she does. She's contributed to the excellence of Florida State University for almost 4 decades, and we are all better for it, having worked with her. You are going to have a legacy, no question about it, a lasting legacy, and we can't thank you enough for all you've done for Florida State University and the College of Education. But now it's time to have some fun. So Jean and I wish you the very best. Happy, well-deserved retirement for the years to come, but please promise to both of you to stay in touch with us as you enjoy your days ahead. God bless you, and thank you for everything, Marcy. Appreciate you. I forgot one thing. To follow up on my comments, our Provost, Sally McRorie, who is my right hand at Florida State University and does a fabulous job for us every single day, would like to say a few words. Sal?
Thank you, Mr. President. Marcy. Oh, golly. Good afternoon. I'm very proud to be here today to pay tribute to one of our most admired deans and one of my oldest friends here at FSU. Marcy Driscoll has held many titles over the span of her distinguished career, but I think I can sum all of them up by calling her what she is, a trailblazer. What else can you say about a woman who accepted a job in Iran, a nation on the verge of revolution, after earning her doctorate in the late 1970s, instead of accepting an academic job a little bit closer to home? Thankfully, her experience working in Iran's National Radio and Television Education Division helped her land a position here at Florida State University in 1980. And here she has been since, blazing new trails at FSU. When she was hired 38 years ago, that's a little scary, she was the only woman in a department of 30 men. But that didn't stop her from making her presence known. She later became the department chair, then an associate dean, and in 2005, she became the first woman to serve as the dean of the university's second oldest college. Trailblazers are people who take risks and overcome challenges. And those qualities in Marcy have paid big dividends for our College of Education. Under her leadership, the college has raised more than $32 million in gifts and commitments. That's pretty amazing, allowing it to grant more scholarships than any other college of education in Florida. The college has launched the careers of thousands of teachers, researchers, coaches, and administrators, all the while rising in the national rankings. Marcy has also taken many leadership roles in a number of professional organizations, including very important national and international organizations. And she is the author of one of the most popular textbooks in the field of instructional systems. She has not only blazed a trail, but she's left a path for others to follow and created opportunities at every turn. She enjoys serving as a mentor. We want you to continue to do that, my dear. And she and Robin created an endowment fund to help women overcome unexpected barriers to complete their degrees. If you know Marcy the way I do, you know she's a very strong person, and she stands up for what she believes in. And fortunately for us, she believes in education. She believes in our students, and she believes in Florida State University. Marcy, I'm very proud to call you my friend. Thank you for everything, and keep blazing those trails wherever life's next adventure takes you. We love you, and we're going to miss you all the time. And now I'd like to introduce Kevin Derryberry, Assistant Dean for Development at the College of Education.
So Mara told me everybody was going to be wearing these hats today. Thank you, Mara. And thank you, Sally, and thank you, President Thrasher, both of you for your kind remarks, and thank you all for allowing me to lend my voice as we congratulate our friend, Dean Marcy Driscoll, on a job very well done. Marcy, I admire you for your trailblazing, but also for all of us that you kept on the trail behind you and brought along with you. Marcy has hired 117 of the faculty and staff in the College of Education. That's 80% of the college that she's hired since she's been the dean. And she has really stressed along the way that she would hire a collaborative team, folks who work together to overcome educational challenges. I think that that collaborative spirit is all the more impressive if you know Marcy and how truly competitive she is. Ask her about her RC club, and you will quickly learn that she's the only woman in the club, but better than most of the men. Ask her about when she and Robin lived at the coast, and you will hear about racing sailboats. Ask her about her workout routine, and you may learn that for a time she was a competitive bodybuilder. Or ask her to drive her Porsche and learn how quickly and definitively you can be told no. But ask Marcy about the college, and you will learn that we are ranked higher than at any other point in our history, and we offer more scholarships than any other college of education in the state of Florida. Something she tends to say more often when we're in Gainesville or around our friends from downstate. Marcy competes to be the best, but she does so as a true team player, inspiring all of us on the team to climb the national rankings by meeting research challenges, providing opportunities for our students, and of course, fundraising. I've been very lucky to work with Marcy as her fundraiser for the last few years because she has told me that this is her favorite part of the job of dean. And from the day that she started to this morning when we signed, hopefully not your last gift agreement, she has been working at that very hard. On her first day as dean in 2005, she did the glamorous work of heading to the Tallahassee airport to, of course, head to Atlanta, to head to New York, to take a cab into the city, to get on a train, to go to Connecticut, to go to a donor's house, and create the first of more than 50 scholarships that have been created in her time as dean. That scholarship, I think, is particularly poignant because it was a first travel scholarship for the college. And you'll see around with the invitations that we had tonight, as well as the food stations, the transformational power of travel we've tried to sort of highlight tonight in some of the more exotic places that Marcy has gone. But while you've gone to those places as a scholar and as a dean, it hasn't been the glitz and glamour of life on the road that keeps pulling you out there, but the opportunity to meet with Florida State University's extended family of alumni and friends. Marcy's commitment to that family has made her the most successful fundraising dean in the college's history, and personally, she has been the most generous dean in the history of Florida State University. She has been successful as a fundraiser and a team builder because our students, our faculty, and our alumni see in Marcy the same thing that I do, that she truly loves the people and the values that we hold dear at Florida State. We know that family is important to you, Marcy, and with great respects to your brothers and to Robin, who are here with us tonight, we know that you're a Driscoll and a Perkins, but you will always, now and forever, be a Seminole. We love you, and we wish you well wherever your travels may take you. It is now my pleasure to introduce our Associate Dean for Research and Marcy's friend and colleague for the last 38 years, Dr. Bob Reeser.
I'm proud to admit that I was there in 1980 when we hired Marcy as an assistant professor in the Instructional Systems program. At the time, Marcy was chosen to be the eventual replacement for Bob Gagné. Of course, Bob was the most prominent educational psychologist and leading instructional design theorist of his era, so no one could really replace him, fill his shoes, either figuratively or literally. He was a big man, Bob was. But here at FSU, Marcy quickly began to make her own mark. She immediately became one of the most popular professors in the Instructional Systems program. She also became a highly productive researcher. She won an FSU Developing Scholar Award and worked with some of the most prestigious faculty, including Walter Dick, Les Briggs, and Bob Gagné. She also did research with some of our lesser-known faculty, such as Bob Reeser. Marcy then went on to co-author a popular textbook with Bob Gagné. For those of us who were junior faculty, just getting a compliment from Bob, something like, "Fine job," was a major accomplishment. So writing a book with Bob was something really special. And Marcy followed that with her own textbook on learning and instruction. That book, which is now in its 3rd edition and soon to be its 4th edition, is still one of the most frequently used textbooks in the instructional design field. And Marcy's influence in the field was further increased when she served as the president of AECT, the Association for Educational Communications and Technology, which is a major professional association in the instructional design field. Indeed, she served in that role longer than any other AECT president. Marcy went on to employ her leadership skills here at FSU as well. She served as the program leader for the Instructional Systems Program. She served as the chair for the FSU Council for Research and Creativity and the chair of the Department of Educational Psychology and Learning Systems. I have particularly fond memories of Marcy in that last role. She took over as chair after I stepped down from that position. During my time as chair, there was one faculty member who would come into our office suite, knock very loudly on my door, and start complaining about things. Marcy's office was right next door to mine, and on the day she took over as chair, I heard that same loud knocking, but it was on her door rather than mine. That was one of the happiest days of my life. By the way, Marcy somehow got that faculty member to stop knocking. After Marcy's stint as department chair, she became an associate dean here in the College of Education, and then 13 years ago took over as the dean. And it has been the case with all the jobs that Marcy's taken on. She's truly excelled in that role. Indeed, if Bob Gagné were alive today, I'm sure he would say in his inimitable way, "Marcy, you've done a really fine job here." And I think that's a sentiment with which all of us would certainly agree. Marcy, on behalf of all of us, thank you so much for all that you've done. Yet, because the instructional systems and learning technology faculty have taken the time to put together this lovely poster that we have here. What this poster shows is Marcy as the sun, and all of her academic heritage down here. People like Boring, Skinner, John Carroll, John Anderson, McRorie, her major professor, and 42 birds representing the 42 doctoral graduates that Marcy monitored throughout her career. I'd now like to introduce Stephen Connor. Take your time. No. I'm going to talk for another 10 minutes, folks, so just... Steve is the Assistant Vice President for Finance and Administration at the university level and used to be the business manager? Assistant Dean in the College of Ed. Steve.
So I left the college about a year and a half ago, and Marcy and I made a deal not to cry when we were both giving our talks. And I wouldn't say we failed, but we gave a strong C- probably to the effort. And so this is going to be tough to get through because, you know, as I said, she's already tearing up right here in front of me. But when I was asked to speak, I started jotting down some things that naturally were all personal to me. And I'm going to get to those, but I felt a little guilty because there's so many folks here that probably would love to say some things. And so what I did is I reached out to employees that are currently in the College of Education, asked them for one sentence about working with Marcy Driscoll. Now, this is a testament to Marcy. I got paragraphs. And so, you know, we don't have enough time for that because I was told we have 3 to 5 minutes on our speeches. But let me just read a handful of the quotes that I loved as I was going through those. One is, Marcy allowed me to perform and grow. You built a winning team, led the way, and moved us along with you. I admire Marcy's communication style, leadership abilities, confidence, positive attitude, and passion for the college. Her belief in and dedication to COE are two things that make her a good dean, but her kindness and support for her staff and colleagues are what make her a great dean. Every time I see her in the dean's office or in the hallways, she always has a smile on her face and eager to greet you and say hello. Marcy is the main reason why I've been in the college for over 17 years. I highly respect her for her leadership, her mentorship, her honesty, and her spunkiness. I thought those were great. As I kind of personalized this, I kind of focused on some memories and then the mentorship that I got from you. I'm introduced as the assistant vice president, and I wouldn't be in this position if it wasn't for Marcy Driscoll, and that's a fact, that's the truth. I worked with or for you for 15 years. I remember early in my career, I just wanted to get into FSU and work for FSU. I did my undergrad at the College of Business, and I really thought that's where I should be, but I wanted to get in, so I applied for everything. The first interview I got was with the College of Education. I actually luckily got the job. I think it was meant to be. But during that time, I fell in love. I didn't know anything about the College of Education, really. I just thought it was teachers, educating teachers. It's so much more than that. But that's such an important part of it. But I fell in love with the college. I even went back and got my graduate degree from the College of Education. And a lot of that is because of the influence of Marcy Driscoll. I mentioned getting my undergrad at the College of Business and thinking that's where I really kind of quickly wanted to get to. Ironically, the associate dean, after probably, I think, 3 years, I don't know if you'll remember this, about 3 years working in the college, I got asked to go to lunch with the associate dean at the College of Business. He offered me a job right there at lunch. Now, I don't know if Renisha or anyone from HR is here. I don't think you're really allowed to do that. I never even went through the process. It wasn't. And not only that, but he offered me an amount, and it was substantial from what I was making at that time. And I talked to Marcy about it, and I turned the job down because I knew there was so much that I was going to learn and get involved in with Marcy Driscoll to get me to the point where I'm at now. And so I just appreciate all that. We had a great run, 15 years. Some memories that I jotted down when I was going through this is the stone building renovations, 3-year project. Great project. In the role I'm in now, I'm all over this campus. I'm in almost every building in this campus. I'm a little biased because we were heavily involved in that process, but I think it's one of the best buildings on campus. So that was just a phenomenal project right there. We both had boats at one time, and we would meet up on the water, have lunch. The 2013 National Championship game, we sat together for that. What a great game. In fact, we loved that so much that the next year when we played in the Rose Bowl with Oregon, we went to that game together as well. And we had actually had on our bucket list to both attend the Rose Bowl parade. So we did that early in the morning, and that morning, and I don't know if it's true to this day, but it was the lowest temperature record that they had, and I think it was 30 or 31 degrees. We were freezing. And that's probably evident of the game we played later. We played really cold and got blown out by Oregon. Another memory is the College of Education stained glass window on that section on the bottom right there. We designed that, and I think Sarah's here as well, the Master Craftsman Studio. We did that together. And I'm kind of embarrassed to admit that probably for 2 to 3 months, there's the word tomorrow is in there. It was misspelled for 3 months while we were going through proofs. I think it was one of our marketing communications directors that we had shown the proof on, and she's like, is there any reason why tomorrow is misspelled? And we looked, yeah, but we're not going to tell you why, but we'll go ahead and change it. So anyways, those are just some great memories that I jotted down. And really kind of to end, I just wanted to talk about just how great of a leader you are and all the things that I try to implement, in the role I have. For anybody that's read the book, Good to Great, they talk about a level 5 leader. I won't tell you what that is because you got to read the book, but Marcy's a level 5 leader. She's willing to get in the trenches, learn the work, and do the work. True story, at the beginning of when our country was being established, there was a corporal with 2 low-level military guys trying to get across a creek with a huge log going across it. And the corporal was just yelling at these low-level military guys to try to get that log out of the way so that they could keep going. Screaming out and yelling at them, they couldn't get it. Well, a guy came up on a horse, saw what was going on, jumped off the horse, picked up the log with the other two guys. That's all it took, was one more person helping out, moved it out so they could get going. That was future President George Washington that jumped off that horse. Marcy would jump off that horse. You allowed your staff autonomy. You always had my back. You weren't afraid to admit you didn't know something. The first time we really met, you were in a department chair role, and I was in the budget office. And you would come and sit down and ask questions about the budget. And it was so refreshing to hear you admit, I don't understand this, will you explain it to me, instead of a 5-minute circle about trying to prove to me that you understood something that I very well know that you wouldn't have understood. And so there's so much of that goes on here. And so that's so refreshing, and I appreciate that. This says a lot about you. You allowed me to find, get involved with areas I felt needed improvement and jump into those. You were not territorial or hierarchical. In the little bit of research I did, I think you had a mentor named James or Mike Royer. And through reading that, I mean, you are mine and so many other folks, Mike Royer, in this room. You're not only a boss or a mentor, but you're a friend. And one other thing I want to mention that I didn't know if I was going to say, and I didn't run it by my wife because she probably would be upset at me, but my wife graduated from Florida State University, and the only job she's had is working for Florida State University. And almost that entire career has been at the College of Education. She unfortunately lost her mom to cancer right when she was graduating and starting her career. And so I won't go into too many details, but in just the only way Marcy can do, you played a leadership role, you played a mentor role, you provided a woman that she could look up to and respect. And as her husband, I just got to tell you thank you, and I love you for that. And that goes to show, in closing this, all the roles Adina is expected and asked to play. I heard recently that a college had just hired a dean. And at this college, there's a huge lake on campus, and there's a little island in the middle of the lake. And a handful of faculty wanted to take the new dean on a picnic on that little island. So they get in a rowboat, and they row the dean all the way to this island. They get onto the little island, they realize, man, we forgot the picnic basket back there on the shore. The dean said, you know what, you guys, the new dean, you know what, you guys have done this for me, let me go over there and I'll get the picnic basket. Well, this dean started walking on the water all the way across. Got the picnic basket, started walking back, and all the faculty were like, can you believe it? They hired a dean that can't swim. I know you can swim. I think you could probably walk on water. And in closing with this theme, I think you could probably fly as well. And with that transition, I'm going to invite Kevin back up so he can give the gift from the college to you. Thank you.
All right, the videographers have demanded that I come back up. They wanted another shot of me in this hat. So, got it? All right, good. Marcy, I get to present the gift from the college to you. And so we know that you still have 3 weeks left as our dean and another 6 weeks to get, or 6 months, I should say, to get through the 4th edition of your book. But as you're working on those last few chapters, we want to have a little incentive for you to have a little fun. So I'm sure you know what this is, but for everyone else here, this is the RC Sunbird 1.5E glass carbon hotliner. Like Marcy, the Sunbird 1.5E is compact, it is precise, and it is built for speed. This 60-inch wingspan, full composite hollow molded hotliner is built extremely lightweight and with great strength, has full competition capabilities and efficient designs, and will satisfy the most demanding pilots and deans. With much thanks to Robin for his guidance on this gift, and credit to Mara Harrington, Kelly Connor, Amy Garrett, and our favorite Bobs, Eklund and Reeser, the College Dean's Office presents you the Sunbird 1.5E. I don't know what to do. All right, guys, before we let Marcy say a few words, I've been instructed to inform you all that champagne is coming around. Steve is going to come back up here, and we are going to give Marcy a toast, so please grab a drink, grab a glass before he does. We ready?
So let's raise our glass to the first woman dean, the second oldest college here at Florida State University. To a lady that is so full of life and a great smile, to someone that's taken college and many of us to new heights, to our friend, Marcy Driscoll. You're here. Do you want to say a few words?
Wow. Okay, so the first thing you'll know is that I'm not tall enough for this mic. So I'm a little vertically challenged here. This has just been amazing. The theme of tonight's event could hardly be more appropriate, I think. And they kept it all from me. It was a surprise to have it carried out this far, and it's so amazingly creative. I just have to say this is awesome. So thank you, from my team for doing all of this. And I so appreciate all of you coming out to celebrate with me tonight, because it truly makes it a very special thing. And like Steve just said, it's probably going to be a little tough for me to get through this. I figured I'd be a complete basket case by the time I got to this part, and it's true. So I'll do my best. But I remember a year or so ago when Janet Lenz had her retirement party, she said, "It's my party and I can cry if I want to." So I feel the same. So I have to tell you that being a dean was not my career goal. I mean, who really knows what a dean does anyway, except maybe other deans. So as a young faculty member, I'm sure that I did not have a clue what the dean did. And if later on, if somebody had ever asked me, "Yeah, have you ever thought about being a dean?" And I'd say, "No, why would anybody want to do that?" Right? And because being a faculty member, especially at FSU, is the best job in the world. So why would you want to do anything else? I always thought and always imagined that my career would be one of working with students and writing books, because those are things that I love to do. But I will say that my perspective changed when I took my turn as department chair, and as Bob mentioned, it was after his 10 years as chair. We had long-serving chairs in our department. And I saw the university through a wider lens, a different perspective. And I think it's the first time I really experienced real satisfaction in helping faculty achieve their goals. And it was something that I enjoyed doing. And the challenges of finding the resources that faculty needed to really thrive. So, but I have to credit my husband for encouraging me to consider becoming a dean, and then supporting me when I decided, thank you, to go down that path. He said, and I don't know that this is an exact quote, but if you really want to get things done and have an impact, you've got to be the boss. So I knew when I started as dean in 2005 that I would have the opportunity to reshape the faculty, because at that time we had already had one round of faculty members who had retired because of the drop program, and we were facing at least one or two more rounds of faculty leaving the college. So I knew that that was going to happen. I never dreamed that I would have the opportunity to hire as many people as I have, or as many staff members as I have in this college, but 13 years is a pretty long time. Larry Abel, who is the provost that hired me, suggested that I read the book that Steve mentioned, Good to Great. Now, if you haven't read it, it's generally about corporations, some of whom went on to be great, versus some that stayed as merely good, and what were the differences between those that became truly great versus those that never got beyond good. But one of the metaphors that really stuck with me when I read that book was about getting the right people on the bus. If you get the right people on the bus, it doesn't matter if you don't know where the bus is going, because they will figure it out. But if you set a direction and you've got the wrong people on the bus, it will be a complete failure. So my deanship has been all about getting the right people on the bus, both faculty and students, not students, faculty and staff in the College of Education. So having the right people on the bus is also what made everything else possible. And you've heard about some of the great things that we did, and it was a team effort. It wasn't just me. I might have been sort of captain of the ship, so to speak, but it was a team, and it was something that gave me a lot of satisfaction in being able to put together, get the right people on the bus, and then figure out where we were going to go as a College of Education. FSU, it's clear, also has the right people on their bus. I mean, I would say it's just been a pleasure to work with my friend, Sally McRorie, as provost, and with President Thrasher. Now, I thought he was going to tell the story about when he was hired. So I was one of those that was a little skeptical. But I remember Ed Burr, who is chairman of the Board of Trustees, says, you got to get to know him. Well, Ed was exactly right. Well, shortly after John became president, he asked me to serve on his cabinet. And I spent about 8 months coming to cabinet meetings once a week and really got to know the guy. And, you know, I remember thinking at the time when he invited me to do this, you know the old saying, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. I kind of wondered if that was sort of his way. But during that 8 months, I will tell you that I got to know John, I got to know Jean, and Ed was exactly right. John is the right guy. We got the right guy, and he has done so much for Florida State, and it's been such a pleasure and my honor to work with you during this period of time. So FSU is in great hands. I'm coming up, as you know, nearly 40 years here, and I am proud to say that the university is the strongest it has ever been since I have been here. It's a good time to pass the baton and then cheer from the sidelines. So I'm delighted tonight, and I'm just going to give a shout out to welcome my successor, who is here, soon to be former LSU Dean, Damon Andrew. And Damon is a distinguished alumnus from the College of Education, where he earned his doctoral degree, and an FSU grad made good from last year. I am confident that the college will continue to thrive under his leadership. And I had lunch with him today, and I'm just excited to say that it'll be a smooth transition. You will hardly know that I'm fading into the woodwork. People have asked me what I am most looking forward to in retirement. So aside from getting the darn QER reports done, which aren't at the moment, I promise, Damon, you will not have to inherit that. I'll get it done. I would have to say that having complete control over my calendar is what I'm most looking forward to. No more meetings or days when you come in and get absolutely nothing done on your to-do list. And all you administrators out there know what I'm talking about. I'll be able to look out the window on any given morning instead and see the great weather and say to Robin, let's go flying. I'm looking forward to that. What I will miss most, of course, are all the people that I've had the great fortune to work with. It's been a great job because of you. So thank you.